at a track that he knows exceptionally well. And watch, out of 22, this is a rolling start. As you know, Matt, Nathan Hearn, just 2 points off Owen Kelly for the round. He's got to make up some spots.
5 points covering the first 3. It was a game changer last night. Some of the field here struggling at the back there, including Brooke, including Hearn, but it's Owen Kelly and Ben Grice ready for the lights to go out for the final time in Turtle Wax Trans Am. And we get underway here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Watch the Valvoline number 1 car coming from the back as we go. Oh! Already, that's Dalton and Morris getting together. The bird scatter and the 45 is out on the grass, but this blows the field apart.
Will this be a safety car? Lockie Dalton's machine is the car campaigned by your race leader last year, previously in the hands of Owen Kelly. Zach Bates has got his hands full. Brett Holdsworth fired up after becoming a dad again last night, in a fighting 4th place right now. And it's another generational driver. Alan Grice's son, Ben, currently in P2.
Safety car called. Just as they get to turn number 5, the totem pole left-hand side was going up and down, with drivers going up and down through the field while they scattered. And Lockie Dalton, car 45, after contact with Morris, he started out at position number 8 and up to 11 Motorsport. Car number 45, his day, his weekend is over here in Sydney. Did it just all funnel in as they came through turn 1 and maybe options ran out? I need to have a look at a different angle on that replay of the start there. So a bit of action in Turtle Wax Trans Am, and it's been a story in 2022. We've had lots of it, Matt. Bathurst last time out. We're off to Queensland. Some good rounds to come as well. He was part of the GRM Combine program early this year, the Tasmanian that's in the series full-time. He raced for the Cedars team in Toyota 86 over last year, scoring 7 top 10 results in that category. And Nash Morris, this car has been in the wars, particularly this side of his super cheap auto, number 67. There's the donut rings on the side there from the Hoosier tyre contact on the way into turn number 1, and significant damage to the 45, with Owen Kelly leading from Grice, Bates, Holdsworth and Thornborough, the top 5. Nathan Hearn was already up to 13th position on the first lap as Morris makes his way back into pit lane in car 67.
A little bit of a heart stopper there. A couple of other stories. Tim Brooke to 11th. Oh, let's have a look here. So keep an eye on that red super cheap auto machine. Jet Johnson trying to sneak through as well. Oh,
there was another car that started there. I'm trying to identify who that was that got into there. Now, left-hand side, watch they start to fan out. There's Johnson in the middle. And it's hard to see from that angle. There's a mark on the front of the 117 as well. A quick glimpse as Dalton gets dispatched, exit stage right out towards where the old drag strip used to be.
So watch for the pink machine as well. McCorkindale tries to go down the inside, not successful there. Nash looking for options. Jet Johnson's in the mix there, and I think, is that Lockie Dalton's car hitting the final part of the pit wall on the left there hard?
View from Nathan Hearn. Blinding start from the number 1.
Literally.
He was angry after what happened last night. Moored himself. Just tiptoes his way through as everybody scattered with the 45 going to the right-hand side of the track. He picked off Brock Bowley here. That's the rest of the field. John Harris there as well, using the outside like he did in his S5000 car earlier in race number 2. So from the starter's box, it's hard to see from that. Man, that's a big hit too. Raw concrete left-hand side for the 45. And lucky that there wasn't several other cars going off in the process. It's a tight corner, but it's a very fast corner, particularly with a rolling start, Rusty.
As I said, I think there's more to this story, Matt. I mean, you saw McCorkindale move left and right looking for an option there. Jet Johnson was in the mix as well. So just what happened as all of that lot crowded into turn 1, that's the real question. The net result, lots of damage. That was a hard hit when it went in front on to the final part of the pit wall for Lockie Dalton.
So Hearn in car, but of course it's a big night coming up on Stan Sport. Aussie Willpower and teammate Scotty McLaughlin are 1 and 3 in the NTT IndyCar Series standings leading into the Indianapolis 500. You can catch it live and exclusive from 1 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning from Speedway, Indiana. Cannot wait for the 106th running. And of course, the June long weekend, 24 hours of Le Mans. Can't wait for that. It'll be a sleepless weekend there too. Live, uninterrupted and ad-free. You'll catch the 24 hours of Le Mans. Can't wait for that as well. Of course, Formula E Jakarta with Stoffel van Dorn, who takes a slender lead into next weekend's Formula E race over there in Jakarta. You can catch it live and exclusive on your new destination for motorsport, get it right, here on Stan Sport.
Highlight _ new destination. How's the offering?
Yes.
How's the offering? Formula E, Le Mans. I was very fortunate to go to Le Mans in 2015. That is one of the all-time great endurance races. Classic machines, so much history, iconic circuit. And then tonight, early tomorrow morning, greatest spectacle in motor racing. Will Power's in there, Scotty McLaughlin, the much-loved Kiwi who won Bathurst and championships in this country. Scott Dixon, Brisbane-born Kiwi, has pole position. You've got to tune in for that awesome, awesome array of motorsport.
And the threat of weather. It's been a very unpredictable week there in Indianapolis the last few days. Of course, qualifying interrupted with rain last Saturday and Sunday. Carb Day was plagued by a bit of weather as well. So you just don't know what you're getting yourself into over there. But the greatest spectacle in racing coming up tonight, 1 a.m. here on Stan Sport, the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500. We're still under safety car here, working lap 3 of 14 while we retrieve car number 45 off the track. Nash Morris is in the pits. Why don't we take a look at race 1 highlights from 24 hours ago as the field of 26 made their way down to turn 1.
Nathan Hearn in the Valvoline entry, running the number 1. The Dodge that he won the championship with last year is now in the Bathurst Museum. Contact down at turn 2. And what about the cars that are in the mix there? Super Cheap Auto Machine and Lockie Dalton. We've just been talking about what's happened in this race. Then this for Tim Shaw, and it meant a wild ride for Jet Johnson trying to avoid.
That was Grice coming in hot in the All-American Driveline and Auto Parts car. This awkward one when Holdsworth stacked up the field and they played a bit of Trans Am pinball at the top of turn number 2. But this was Nathan Hearn clearing out in the first race of yesterday, dominating that in the Valvoline number 1.
The contact at the time I thought would mean that Zach Bates wouldn't finish further up, but he managed to get past those guys and score a great finish. He's third currently in this race. Hearn would win the opening encounter, but it was a different story in race 2, Matt, wasn't it?
The night lights, and these cars were absolutely built for it, weren't they, last night here under the beautiful Musco lights. It's been a big tick. I'm sure we'll see that again in the future here. It just changes the look of this City Motorsport Park complex. The cars look faster. You see a lot more sparks, the flames, the brake discs. My excitement levels go up a bit higher, even more so.
Well, it got us all fired up, didn't it? Because it's such a wonderful motorsport precinct now. I mean, we heard some of the on Friday, people running drag cars at the drag strip next door. When we finished last night, we'd hear the Speedway and we're all like, oh, gee, that was pretty good under lights with TCR. What about we just duck down the road to the Speedway as well?
Opened recently. There's the marks from the wall right at the flag stand as well. One of the many sector points we have for the flag marshals at SMP. So here's a replay. If you just joined the coverage once again. So we're looking in the middle of the shot here. There's starting a bit of overlap. And 3 cars. And look at the mark. Man, that went in hard. And well done to everybody to avoid that. There was at least a dozen cars driving blind into that smoke and the setting sun, Rusty.
I'm not sure they knew Jet Johnson was there.
No.
It's difficult to know who's at fault there, but we talk often in this game about the funneling. So watch here. So the Napa Auto Parts entry dives to the middle of the track. That's that blue and yellow one. Nash is in there in the Super Cheap machine. We'll keep you posted on what we know from race control as soon as something happens. Nash Morris is in the lane, so we'll get our pit team onto that story as well.
Yeah, Johnson was in the middle and just got squeezed.
I'm not for a moment suggesting it's his fault.
No, absolutely not. No. This is from Hearn. I think he had a bit of space there too to play with, so he was carrying a bit more speed before they got to the start. That's what helped him make up a few spots.
Watch him one-handed through here too. So it's all going pear-shaped up in front, one-handed, keeps shifting a gear, keeps making up positions.
And there's the debris on the track. It's not the last part we'll see on the track. Instead, look at the marble, the rubber, bits of rubber on the track there from the tyres. A lot of racing's happened here since Friday. We start the day with a 2-hour production car race to kick off Sunday morning. We work our way towards Super Cheap Auto TCR. That follows this one to cap off 2 big days of the Speed Series presented by Shannon's, as we're getting set for a restart here in the final race of Trico Trans Am. Grice gluing himself to the back of the Fujitsu 73 of Owen Kelly, race leader and series leader, as they charge their way down to turn number 1.
Bit of margin over Zach Bates as they fly through 1 for the first time. Watch the background, Ethan Thornborough, who's a local Sydney racer. He's having a good weekend too. While the skirmishes have happened, he's by and large stayed out of it, Matt, for most of the weekend from memory, and he finds himself 5th in this race, ahead of John McCorkindale. Pappas, Jet Johnson is 9th. Kyle Girton rounds out your top 10. Nathan Hearn to 11th. He's already ahead of Tim Brook, now to 10th.
Brooks going with him, and that's key at the moment. Those guys 2nd and 3rd in the championship now. Nick Carroll down the inside of West Aussie. Brock Bowley in the 33. That's Jet Johnson on the outside of Hearn, who's just made up another spot to go up into 9th. It might be 8th before I finish this sentence, and you better believe it is. He goes past the 8, and Johnson wants a piece of the action as well.
Round Corporate Hill they come. It's like a swarm of NASCARs. Very similar vibe about them, these machines. That blue, white and red entry that's just come through. John Harris down in 14th, the youngster. First race under lights last night. And that's a team that ran very successfully Aaron Seaton in this class of racing. When Glenn was here tuning the car for his son, they were dynamite in this series, weren't they?
In fact, Aaron led the series up till this event last year, the 2nd Sydney round we had, and sacrificed the series to focus on his Super 2 campaign, which ultimately saw Nathan Hearn dominate the final 2 rounds to become the series champion. You're watching Zach Bates and Brett Holdsworth battle here for 3rd and 4th position. So make their way up towards turn number 2. Owen Kelly, 1.4 seconds, and again, Hearn just slicing his way through the traffic. That's Cody Bircher he's passing now for 7th position.
He is already on to pass McCorkindale here. Watch this. What a drive from the number 1 of Nathan Hearn. 27 comes to the lane, I think, Matt. That's Elliot Barber. What a shame. They've been chasing some electrical gremlins in the earlier part of the weekend. They seemed to get on top of that, and they had an engine issue, I think, of some kind last night. And unfortunately, the Pioneer entry back in the lane.
I think the dial come up there with a little hot on the screen last night when it came back into the pits. Hearn down the inside, again on McCorkindale.
With ease, Matt.
6th position. He started back in 22nd spot for Nathan Hearn. He wants to take the series lead back from Owen Kelly.
Let's also add into the storyline here. He was so fast and so exhilarating to watch in the S5000 race just a short time ago, Matt, but then had that drive-through penalty after contact with Tim Macro. Macro's pretty fired up about it. We know about the fact that this round potentially slipped from his grasp last night. Hearn is out to make amends here. This is an incredible drive.
He's not messing about, is he? This was down the inside of Tim Brook. That was the first of about 4 passes he made on that lap alone. This was in car of the Valvoline Ford Mustang. Joined GRM this year and has the support of the team and Marcus Ambrose. He pulled up at the last second to make the move, climbing the curb, going past Tim Brook with relative ease. Later in the lap, he had relieved Chris Pappas of position in the brand new number 8. Jet Johnson wanted to go in with him. And Pappas leaving a mark on that brand new car that debuts this weekend. There was the view facing back. Oh, that was the donut mark left on the side of the 8 from the Napa Auto Parts car of Jet Johnson. And then passing Thornborough at the same time.
This is wild. He is up to 5th, exactly right. Jump aboard. Sizes him up. Got a good run out of the final series of turns. Carries good speed and sideways through 1. Awesome.
You can hear the Hoosier tyres just crying, saying, enough, I can't do it. You're asking too much of me in the early stages. And still Rusty, it'll be 7 laps to go at the end of this. He's after Holdsworth. There's now John Harris facing the wrong direction at the exit of turn 6. Don't think you can do that on your own as he flick spins it and leaves the car park Greg Russ style on the way up turn,
Go easy.
turn number
Go
7.
Easy.
That wasn't you?
No.
Must say my Mustang's confused.
He's ahead now of Holdsworth, up into position number 4. It was a very emotional win of the title last year at Mount Panorama Bathurst. This guy is, he'd been in the headlines endeavouring to climb the ladder, and it was a big monkey off his back, but he is up into 4th place. Molly.
Chasing some engine gremlins all weekend. We missed all the practice, and then yesterday it overheated in race 2, and then all the temps and everything seemed fine, but just under load up the top, just had a bit of a miss. So for where we were, there's no point risking the engine while it's still in one piece, so we'll just try and get it sorted for QR.
Yeah, reset for the next race. And we're just talking also about that hectic start. From your perspective, what did you see?
Yeah, just a lot of dust and cars kind of going everywhere and smoke. So yeah, I kind of rolled out, was probably too cautious. But again, when you're fighting for P nowhere, it's kind of not worth risking any damage. So I don't know what sort of happened too much. And then on the restart, one of the other cars just kind of used me up and put me on the grass. So but it's pretty sort of standard stuff for down 20th. So yeah.
Onwards and upwards for next round.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Elliot.
It's Elliot Barber. His day is done after finishing 11th yesterday. Meantime, it's on. Jet Johnson, Thornborough and Bircher. Better put in Tim Brook as well for good measure. They're arguing back in at the 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th position. More contact now. Bircher aggressive on the move there to take the spot away. The Sydney Property Care car of Eden Thornborough. Tim Brook will get the job done as well here. It's down the Brabham Straight they go. Look at the front splitter on Jet Johnson's car, starting to flap around on the way down into turn number 1. 6 remaining. Kelly leads from Grice and Hearn. Stubbsy.
Nolts, Lockie Dalton has just left the medical centre. He spent 15 minutes in there just getting a check over. He says he's fine, but he's headed back to the Trans Am paddock just to recover with his supporters.
Good work, Chris. Thank you. Good to know that he's okay. Kelly still leads the way by 3.64 seconds in the Fujitsu Mustang from Ben Grice. Nathan Hearn is 3rd. The margin to Grice, 0.24. Here it is, the fight for 2nd place. You ride with Hearn, big dive under brakes, it's done.
Man, he is absolutely on a tear, and he's on his way to set the fastest lap of the race as well on this lap. Fastest first sector, 27.5. Everyone else is in the 28s at the moment. So with 3 seconds, give or take, to the guys ahead and some laps on side, he may get to the back of these guys. Regardless, this is a massive effort. 19, make it 20 positions.
So we're hearing that we may go time certain on this race just to keep things on schedule, just due to safety car and so on. Understandable. And we've still got some good action to come your way here at Sydney Motorsport Park, namely Super Cheap Auto, TCR Australia. Stay with us, whatever you do. Just crunching some numbers, Matt. He's up to position 2. He's got fastest lap of the race. But the sideways through 1 again. He's been doing some sprint car stuff. That is sprint car style. But the loss of points from the DNF, or did not finish last night, means that he's not necessarily a podium contender for the round. We believe it'll be Owen Kelly, if things stay as they are, for the round win from Grice, with Zach Bates on the podium on debut.
That's
Brilliant.
huge. Great result. But with his dominance in one-mate categories over the last year or so, not many people will be surprised. But it's a mega job with some talented names in the field around him. He's taken to it like a duck to water in the Sullivan's number 24. Back in 4th spot at the moment. Gap sits at 3.6 seconds. Owen Kelly back to his teammate Nathan Hearn from 22nd into 2nd. Grice drops back in the 3rd spot now. We believe next time by would be 1 lap to go.
Don't know that it'll get close enough. Those cars are both prepped under the Gary Rogers Motorsport roof. They both, particularly Nathan's very hands-on there in the workshop. Owen's got a regular Monday to Friday job, but he is also regularly in there working with the crew on the car. Be very interesting to see if they get within close company what happens here. The margin is 3.2 seconds now. Keep in mind, we may go time certain. Top job by Jet Johnson in the 10, and maybe going to pick up another spot here in the Napa Auto Parts entry. And special opportunity coming up for his dad, Stephen Johnson, and granddad, Dick Johnson, this week. All of them in a Mustang.
It's going to be mega, isn't it, up there at Queensland Raceway? And we get to go there for the next round of Turtle Wax Trans Am. In fact, the Speed Series will be there with a full complement of categories in August as Girton and Johnson argue over position here. Position 10 and 11 on the course. The good news is we might get an extra lap or so here for Nathan Hearn to chase Owen Kelly, but Kelly, with all that experience, has kept that gap. In fact, he's responding now with his fastest first sector. The gap, 3.3 seconds.
Radio message clearly has come through that Hearn's on the charge. Has Nathan, with all of that hustling, used the best out of those tyres? He can't keep doing that sprint car stuff through turn one and not have some impact, Matt. So, quickest lap of the race, unbelievably, from the back, has recovered to second. It is a mighty drive. The loss of points last night sadly means it won't be a podium finish for the weekend, but lots to talk about after that performance.
Most drivers would be satisfied with that effort coming from the back. We know how hard Nathan Hearn is on himself when stuff doesn't go right. Second still wouldn't sit well with Hearn at the end of this. This was the move on Holdsworth. Breeze Holiday Parks, making it look like a breeze, didn't he, through here as the seas parted and the one made the move on Holdsworth at the final turn.
Look at him, just at one with the car at the moment and seemingly able to hurl it around and get the result. This is on Zach Bates now. We work up around the back of the circuit, to turn 6. Nicely done.
The highlights package will just be this.
We've already cut it. It's already good to go.
Been incredible to watch. This is him making the move on Grice, and Grice just letting him go here. Remember, he'd have a pretty good set of tyres under him as well from last night's DNF. As Owen Kelly on the final lap here now at Sydney Motorsport Park, setting sail for turn number 7. A mega drive, a mega recovery, but when you draw a DNF in any of our categories and get 0, you're going in with one arm tied behind your back. And this really will be a scene setter for Queensland Raceway for the next round of Turtle Wax Trans Am. A bit of a mid-year break coming up for the categories. And Owen Kelly looking good here with just 2 turns remain in the Fujitsu 73.
His family will be watching this. His son loves motor racing and loves cars generally. Good stuff. Dad is about to deliver. His brother Christian is here working on the car as well, along with Dwayne Priest and Marcus Ambrose. Owen Kelly wins the final race of the weekend in Turtle Wax Trans Am, and the numbers suggest he's the round winner too. Hearn, unbelievably, with a drive from the back of the grid that had us turning heads the whole way through, has gotten to P2, achieved position number 2. Ben Grice gets home in 3rd. Zach Bates 4th for the race, but we believe that's enough to finish 3rd for the weekend on debut. Tremendous story for that young fella out of the Toyota 86 series. Watching Pappas and Rice come over the line, that's for 15th and 16th.
What a recovery from the Valvoline #1 reigning Trans Am champion. That's just what we ordered, wasn't it, for the final race? Hearn from the back, 2nd position. Owen Kelly picking up the final race and the round in Turtle Wax Trans Am, and picks up his 4th win of the season. Does it nicely in the end. The gap got down to 1.5 seconds, but he was under control, wasn't he? They were 7 seconds clear of Grice in the end. Zach Bates home in 4th ahead of Holdsworth, McCorkindale. Tim Brook from the tail as well to 7th position. Shouldn't forget that either. Cody Bircher, Ethan Thornborough, and Kyle Girton completing the top 10. Jet Johnson 11th, back to Hugh McAllister. Nick Carroll, Mark Crutcher in 14th. Back to Chris Pappas, Jackson Rice, John Hollinger, Brock Bowley, John Harrison, Craig Scatella. Great recovery considering the damage they had over the weekend. Mick Rowell and Tim Shaw.
It's time for the Speed Series presented by Shannon's Podium, the trophy presentation for round 4 of the Turtle Wax Trans Am Series here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Delighted to have presenting our trophies this afternoon, Nestora Strinsos, General Manager Commercial from the Australian Racing Group. In 3rd place today, for Sullivan's MBS FM, what a debut. Make some noise for Zach Bates. welcome to Trans Am. In second place for this round, the All-American Driveline and Auto Parts entry, Ben Grice. And now to welcome to the podium your round 4 winner. From Gary Rogers Motorsport Fujitsu, it's Owen Kelly. A photo to capture the moment. Congratulations to our drivers. The champagne is there. Gentlemen, the podium is yours. Let the champagne and celebrations begin.